What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down a great quarterback on-field workout that you guys can do. Let's get started. Now, before we get into this video, fellas, if you are a quarterback and would like to improve your football IQ, you want to learn how you can read defenses, how you can read coverages, check out that very first link in the description below where you can get access to 500 different videos on how QBs can read defenses. We break down every single video into categories like cover 1, cover 2, cover 3, advanced coverages, RPO, everything that you could think of above the neck for quarterbacks. So if you guys want to become a smarter QB, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get started with this video. All right, guys, so pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through just kind of a workout that I would do with my quarterbacks that I train personally down here in Southern California, some of the quarterbacks that we work with at the camps that we do, and we're going to be starting out with our quarterback hip warm-up routine, okay? So now this is how we start every single workout to get us into our throwing sequence habit and just pretty much just build good mechanics. And these are drills that you guys can do that do not put a lot of pressure on your arm. A lot of times quarterbacks think that, oh, the only way I'm going to get better is from throwing, and that's a lot of pressure on my arm. I can't do that. My arm's going to get a lot of pressure. It's going to hurt. These drills are simple drills that you guys can do that will work on your mechanics but not put pressure on your arm. So the first one is going to be called a hip walk. So I'm sure you guys have all seen Dak Prescott do that hip drill. This is pretty much what that is working on. So you're going to be doing this for about 5 to 10 yards, and I recommend doing 4 sets of this. But pretty much what you're going to do, you need a 5-yard space, and coming out for 5 yards, 5 to 10 yards. I did this for about 10 with my guys. The rhythm of this, if you're a right-handed quarterback, is going to be left, right, left. And as you step with your left foot, you're going to maintain some weight on your back leg. Shoulders are going to rotate back, and you're going to work that first part of the throwing sequence. And I'm going to talk about why this is important in a second. Then you're going to flip left, right, left, reset, left, right, left, reset. Now, why is this important? This is how you're able to generate torque, velocity, and more throw power, and honestly more consistency on your throws. Because when you guys throw and you're trying to throw like a bullet over the middle, it's not about your arm, it's not about pushing off your back leg, it's about how rotational we are with my hips. That's your ability to generate power. But it's not just about rotating with your hips, it's about the timing of the rotation with your hips. So what does that exactly mean? So you guys want to think of throwing a football like hitting a baseball. You're in the batter's box, pitcher throws a ball to you, you take a step to the pitcher, but does all your weight come forward at the same time? No. What do? You keep weight loaded on the back leg, you step, bat stays back here, and you pivot, bringing those hips to shoot the bat through. That's how we throw a football, fellas. You get into your base, you want to make sure that your feet are inside of your shoulder frame, weight is going to be back. We take a step with my front foot, but I keep weight back here. I separate my hands. They call that hip and shoulder dissociation. You're separating the upper and the lower half. So when you stride, this stays back, hips bring the ball through, that takes pressure off the arm, and that gives you more whip to the throw, aka more velocity. So that's what this drill works on. Again, you're starting out here, weights on the back leg, it's a left, right step, and the hips go after the step. A lot of people do this and just have the hips go at the same time as the step. That's not what we want to do. We want it to be step first, then hips. It's here, left, right, left. That's how I want you guys to play this thing, okay? So I'm going to show you how this is going to look full speed. Again, probably 4 sets of about 10 to 12 yards. All right, guys, so this next drill that we're going to be discussing is called a straight jacket drill, and this pretty much builds off of the same hip mechanic walk drill, okay? And now, again, we're going to get into some throwing drills, some routes that we're going to be throwing as this video progresses, but these are just good warm-up drills that you guys can do to get yourself in rhythm with your throwing sequence. So remember, throwing sequence is all about just generating torque, right? Separating the upper half from the lower half. So I called this whole event, as you probably have heard me say before, a throwing sequence. So your throwing sequence has to start with the base, right? So your weight's got to be back. You got to have about 60 to 70% loaded, light on the front foot. So you take a step so that when the weight's back, your shoulders can stay back, the hips can go through first, then the shoulders, then the ball. They call that the throwing sequence, or some people call it like a kinetic chain. But essentially how I think of it is you got to get to a base, you got to have a stride, hips got to go next, shoulders, and then ball. In that order: base, hips, shoulders, ball. So this straight jacket drill works on that. It's how you guys generate torque, more consistency on the throw. So pretty much it's the same rhythm of that hip walk that we just did, but instead you're going to be like in a literal straight jacket, like what they put crazy people in so they can't use their arms. So you're here, elbows are on your rib cage. You don't got to be super tense, but all we're doing, left, right, you're going to step with the left, shoulders are going to rotate back because you are keeping weight back, and those hips are going to bring the upper half through. So it's left, right, left, and the hips bring the shoulders through, similar to how we want the hips to bring the shoulders through on an actual throw. So I'm going to show you how this drill is going to look full speed. Again, I'll show you kind of full speed right now before I go through it. Left, right, left. And it's nice and under control. Do not rip those shoulders through super aggressive, because that's ripping the shoulders through aggressive when we throw. And as we know, that is not the correct throwing sequence and how you generate power. All right, guys, so now we're going to be getting to the throwing drills, or the throws that we are going to be hitting. And this is stuff that I pretty much do with every single quarterback that I train. Every single quarterback workout that I do is pretty much broken down into 4 specific types of throws. Yeah, we might work, 5, 6 different routes that we throw. I'm not a big drill guy personally. When I work with quarterbacks, I'm not a guy that puts out bags and has you step over them and shuffle through. The shuffle, and not that those are bad. I'm just more so about putting quarterbacks in game realistic situations. And not that those aren't game realistic situations, but just my philosophy is I want them to get better at moving off of drops, getting into their drop back. And obviously it varies from quarterback to quarterback. If you're more basic, you need a more basic workout. But we pretty much categorize the throws into 4 specific categories. 1, it's going to be an on-platform rhythm throw. It's going to be a throw off of a hitch. It's going to be a throw on the run. And then it's going to be an off-platform throw. So I'm going to take you through all 4 of those throws that I would work in a specific quarterback workout. So like the first route that we would throw would be like a timing route, right? So it'd be like a bang 8 post or like a 10-yard speed out. So let's use a bang 8 post, for example. Bang 8 is where you have a receiver on the outside, usually breaking off his 3rd outside step, 5 steps. When he breaks, that ball's got to be there. So from the pocket, our throw, or our drop, would be like a rhythm 3-step. So for example, you'd be back in the pocket. Let's say we're throwing the left side. I would be here, 1, 2, 3, have to throw right off the 3rd step, and we would drive this thing. And I'm going to show you how this is going to look in a second full speed. But that rhythm 3-step, what we were trying to work on is that throwing sequence. Everything that we do, throwing on the run, throwing off platform, drops, hitches, everything is based on that throwing sequence and getting us into a good spot. So when I take that rhythm 3-step drop and I go back, it's very important that we don't throw like this. On the rhythm 3, I don't want to take a heavy crossover step. I don't want to be here, 1, 2, 3, and throw with all my weight forward, because then I don't have any drive. My shoulders can't rotate back, and I'm off that throwing sequence. My shoulders are ahead of my hips, and that pulls me off that kinetic chain. So that's what we want to think about on that rhythm 3 throw. Now, the next throw we might work would be like a comeback, right? So like 15 back to 12, 18 back to 16, 12 back to 10, depending on the skill level of the guy. And so what would our drop be on that? Usually, and again, nowadays, there are a million different drop backs. This is kind of like a basic form of this, but like a drop back that you could do on this is like a shuffle drop, back pedal drop, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm not that guy that sits there and says, it has to be a 3-step, it has to be a shuffle. I personally like a shuffle, but if your offense does 3-step, why are you working on a shuffle? You should be working on what your offensive coordinator requires you to do, okay? If they don't care, then do whatever's comfortable for you, okay? So now, this throw would be to the left, let's say, I'm throwing a comeback. You would take a 3-step drop, hit the top of the 3-step naturally, because on a comeback, you're trying to get more depth on your drop. You'll probably have some weight on your front foot. The goal of this is to get the weight back on my hitch, step back underneath me, and then drive this thing. So I'm going to show you how both of these footwork movements are going to look full speed. So again, we're throwing a timing route first, and then a comeback route to the outside second, off of a rhythm 3, and then off of a 3 and the hitch. I would like to work probably 8 to 10 reps of both of those throws on each side. All right, fellas, so for the bang 8 post, this would be our drop. It's not a ton of depth, but what we would be doing is we'd be going here, set, go, 1, 2, 3, shoot through and throw. And then for the comeback, what we would be doing is we'd be going here, 1, 2, 3. Notice how I'm getting more depth, hitch up, get the weight back, and then be able to drive this thing. So those are the 2 throws that we work. Again, 10 to 12 reps of each of those on each side. All right, guys, so now it's time for the more so like fun throws that we can do in this actual workout. This is going to be more so like the throwing on the run, the off-platform type throws, are just pocket movement throws if you're not comfortable throwing off-platform. But these are throws that I try to add into every single workout, because honestly, fellas, like I think the stat is like 70% of the time in the NFL, quarterbacks are having to throw not off platform, but not off of their prescribed drop. So like, let's say the drop is a 3 and throw, like that bang 8 post. They say 70% of the time they're either having to go 3, reset, move around, throw on the run, 70% of the time. And that's the NFL. Now imagine what that is in college and high school and youth ball, probably very, very high. So we have to get comfortable throwing on the run, extending plays, etc. So this first throw is going to be an off platform, like drift as I call it. foot. So what this is going to be is we're going to be treating this throwing to the left side. I'll explain what we're going to do on the right side. But this is like left side, you're taking a 3-step drop, your left guard is getting beat to the inside, right? So you're getting pressure right here. So do you want to step up? No, what you want to do is you want to step back and throw. So it's going to be 2 of those drifts, like your left guard got beat inside and your left tackle got beat inside. And we would be throwing like a 10 to 12 yard dig, maybe a curl, a post curl, kind of whatever route that the quarterback wants to work on. So again, you would take a 3-step drop. I'd give probably a drift call or have guys run at you, drift, and throw. Now, the purpose of this, what we're trying to think about is maintaining my weight loaded onto my back leg so I'm always in a position to throw. Now notice how when I move on this, I'm moving front foot first. I really honestly could care less what foot you move with. Naturally, if you're in a good throwing mechanic position, you're going to be moving front foot first. Because if you're loaded on your front foot, what foot will move first? Your back foot. And that's not a good mechanically sound spot to be able to move on. So I'll show you how that footwork's going to look in a second. Then on the right side, what we're going to be doing is we're going to treat it like we're here, taking a 3-step drop, throwing the same dig, side pressure. So if you're getting pressure to the outside, tackle's getting me to the outside, what do? You're going to step up. Then we're going to treat it like my guard or my center is getting backed into me again. So we go here, we step up, pressure here, step forward, and then throw. So the whole time, all of those off-platform footwork throws were maintaining weight on my back leg, and we were staying in a good throwing position to get the ball out of my hands at any time. So I'm going to show you how this is going to look full speed. These are 2 great off-platform footwork drills that you want to add to your routine. All right, fellas, so you want to probably hit about 10 to 12 reps of this on each side. So if we're throwing the left side, working the double drift, you're going to be going back 3-step, drift, and then throw. And then if we're throwing the right side and we're working the outside pressure, guard pressure inside, going back 3, up, forward, and then throw. 10 to 12 reps of that on each specific side. All right, guys, so now the next throw that we are going to be working is a throw on the run. So this is going to be like an escape scenario, like we are getting pressure off the edge and we have to escape, jab, and get out of the pocket. So we're going to be working this on both sides. So this is going to be a jab move, as I like to call it. So we're going to take a 3-step drop. I'm going to give an escape call to the quarterbacks. So this is like your tackle, or maybe we had a blitz off the edge, unblocked defender, tackle got beat to the inside, and you were getting a defender running at your front hip. So all we're going to do is just try to make him redirect. And usually when you have a defender who's coming off the edge, it's probably a linebacker or a defensive lineman. Both should be not as athletic as you. Maybe like on paper they're more athletic than you, but they have a very tough angle. All we got to do is make them redirect a little bit and we should be able to get out of the pocket. So it's like a basketball crossover or receiver crossover. You're going to go back and do a 3. I'm going to say escape, jab with the front foot, escape out on the run, and we would be throwing like maybe a 10 to 12 yard outside breaking route. Then when we switch sides, it's the same type of pressure. We're going to go back, beat off the edge, coming at your front hip. You're going to jab, reverse out, hit this throw on the run to the opposite side. So again, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I need to showcase that full speed, but those are the 2 throws that we're working. You want to work about 10 to 12 throws on the left side, 10 to 12 throws on the right side. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you are a quarterback and want to get better at reading defenses and want 500 videos, all based on how quarterbacks can read coverages, check out that very first link in the description below where you can get access to that. I'll see you guys next time.